If I were to start everything all over again, if I needed to start a t-shirt business completely from scratch, this video is going to show you exactly how I would do that, what I would use, and how I would scale my t-shirt business. Now, before we do go ahead and get started, there's one thing that I need to make perfectly clear to all of you, and that is there are a lot of different ways to start your own t-shirt business. This video is going to explain how I would do it if I were to start all over again with all of the knowledge and experience that I've gained throughout these last 4 or 5 years. Okay, so to get started, what are we going to need? What is the budget that we're going to set? And how are we going to market and grow our business? The very first thing is going to be, of course, our budget. Now, in this particular case, I have a budget of about 1,000 to maybe 1,003 or 1,000, maybe even 500. But of course, this budget can always be adjusted based on your own budget. The reason that I have my budget set this high is because of the heat press that I would plan on buying. But again, there's a lot of different options out there. I've recommended lots of different heat presses, from beginner heat presses to more advanced and workhorse heat presses. So don't worry too much about the price point or the budget, because again, this can always be adjusted. Now, personally, the heat press that I would start with would be the Heat Press Nation Signature Series 16x20 heat press with a slide out drawer and auto open. Now, let me tell you exactly how much this heat press would come out to. All right, so this is the heat press right here, and the price point, so it clocks in at $830. That's crazy because when I first bought it, it was actually like $600. But again, that was like 4 years ago. So, you know, inflation. But if that's too much for you, or if you don't want to be spending that much right off the bat, then you can always go with a much cheaper version and also a much smaller version. This one right here. That's the HTVRont Auto Press 2. And I personally have dubbed it probably the best heat press that you can start off with. The best heat press for beginners. If you want to learn more about that press, you can check out this video right here. In it, I explain everything that you need to know about it, but make sure you watch this entire video first. Now, as far as the media that we're going to be using to print or to press onto the shirt. For this is where it can get a little bit controversial, because some people are going to say DTF is the best. Some people are going to say screen printing is the best. But me personally, I started off with a Silhouette Cameo 4. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one. Instead, I would actually probably go with this one right here. Now, today, I really wouldn't be recommending that one again, because first off, it's pretty loud. Two, it's actually outdated because there's already the Silhouette Cameo 5, which you can go with that one, or you can also go with this one right here. This is the LokLik iCraft cutter, and it's a very, very beginner-friendly vinyl cutter. I also have an entire review on that one if you want to check that out, but those would be the two options that I would go with, either the Silhouette Cameo 5 or the LokLik iCraft cutter. Now, what about all the material that we need to buy for it? Well, for the most part, most of these can come in bundles where you're going to get a bunch of different HTV colors, pretty much like a starter bundle. But if you're not going with one of those and you want to buy your own heat transfer vinyl, then this is what I would suggest. Go with your basic colors. Don't go crazy buying too much inventory, because at the beginning, you're not going to be using it too much. Buy as you go, grow your business slowly. So what would I buy? Probably maybe 5 to 10 feet of the most common colors. In terms of black and white, which are going to be the more common colors, ones that pretty much everyone's going to go for, those I would probably buy 10 to 15 feet rolls, whereas everything else, orange, green, blue, red, I would probably go within 5 to 10 foot rolls. Again, this is all very dependent on your budget. Another thing that you can do is just simply go with black and white, and as you go, as you take on orders, as people need more things, start buying more colors. Now, what about t-shirts? Well, this is where a lot of people also get stuck. This is one of the biggest questions that I always hear. How much inventory do you have? Where do you store your inventory? How many different brands should I keep in stock? What if my customer wants a particular brand? Stop overthinking it. Don't overthink it. This is when you start to overcomplicate things, and this is where people stop. Personally, I didn't go with that much inventory. I didn't have the money for a warehouse. I didn't have the space for tons of inventory. So instead, what I did was I started with about 5 of each shirt size. So at the time, one of the more popular options was the Gildan heavyweights. I do like heavyweight t-shirts, but not necessarily the Gildan ones. They feel all right, but there's a lot better options out there. For Gildan, I highly suggest the Gildan soft style. They feel great. They feel very soft, and all of my customers have loved them. So in this case, I would go with 5 small, 5 medium, 5 large, 5 extra large, and if you have the capacity for it, if you have the budget for it, 5 2XLs. This is going to be for both black and white t-shirts. And that's it. That's what we're going to keep it at. No more than that. You don't need more than that to start. Now, I know right now you might be thinking, but what if I get a bulk order? What if somebody needs 50 shirts? Don't worry, we'll get to that. Now, what about storage? Well, when it comes to storing these t-shirts, it's not going to take that much. You can either just go with, check this out, one of those right there, one of those wire racks. I got that one at Home Depot. I think it was for like 50 or 60 bucks, maybe 80 at the high point. But I do have 2 different styles, so one of them might have been more expensive than the other. But that's really all you need. Or you can also go with one of these. Those right there. Those are little plastic container things that I purchased at Big Lots. But I'm pretty sure you can find them pretty much everywhere because Big Lots just went out of business. So you can find these little plastic containers or plastic storage shelves or plastic storage drawers anywhere. You can find them on Amazon. You know what? I'll link the link for you down in the description below if you want to check them out, along with the same one for the wire racks. All right, so once we have everything ready, once we have all of our equipment and we've practiced a little bit and we learned how to press our shirts, then the next thing we need to do is actually get customers. This is another thing that a lot of people struggle with, and one of the things that people ask me the most. How did you get your customers at the beginning? And how do you continue growing your customer base? Well, there's a few different things that you can do in this case. And this is really going to depend on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to do custom t-shirts for businesses? Or are you trying to start your own brand? Or are you trying to sell your own designs? This is all going to factor into how you're going to get your customers. But the way that I did it was by doing both. So while I always wanted to do my own brand and sell my own designs, there's a lot of money in custom work. So why not? You're already printing shirts in the first place. Selling your own designs, selling your own brand, it works, but it's going to be slower to start versus doing custom work. So why not do both? So if you want to get customers for your Etsy or your Shopify store, this is going to vary. Etsy is going to bring in organic traffic, while Shopify, you're going to have to run ads. You're either going to have to run ads, make content on TikTok, if it's not banned, Instagram Reels, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, whatever it is, maybe even blogs. So you're going to have to find a way to market your brand and bring customers to your website. Because remember, if you have a Shopify website, if you have your own website, nobody's going to know it exists. So it's going to be up to you to bring in traffic to your site. Etsy, again, has organic traffic. As long as you have your SEO and your search terms and your tags down correctly, then you'll be okay and you'll start getting traffic. But also that is going to depend if you have high quality images, which I'll show you how to get a few high quality images a little bit later on in the video. Now, if you want to get custom customers, this is where my bread and butter was. This is probably the easiest yet most tedious way to do it. Now, a lot of people don't like cold calling, neither do I. I hate talking on the phone. So I invented cold messaging. I didn't really invent it. It's really just reaching out to local businesses in your area and offering them what you offer. You message them on Instagram, you tell them, look, I started my own t-shirt business. I'm local. I'm just getting started. I was at your store a few days ago and I realized your employees don't have uniforms. They don't have t-shirts. They don't have matching t-shirts. Can I help you out with this? If you want, I can maybe make you 1 or 2 samples so you can see if you like them and we can take it from there. And that works. Trust me when I say that works. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you no, because that's just always going to happen. And again, it's okay to get no's. That's how you're going to find out whether something's working or not. But then you're also going to get some people that are going to tell you, yeah, sure, let's do it. And there's also going to be other people that tell you, I already have somebody that does that. Or I do this myself online. If you do get those, the people that tell you that they order their shirts online, you can easily combat that by telling them, let me give you a sample and let me give you pricing. If you have your pricing down right, trust me, they will go with you, especially if you have quality products. Now, the other thing that you can do is go on local Facebook groups. This is something that I would do all the time. Not just Facebook groups, but also Facebook Marketplace, and start posting on there. Of course, you can't just be spamming people on Facebook groups. You can't just go to a Facebook group that has to do about Pokemon or anime and say, hey guys, I have custom shirts, whoever needs. It's not going to work. Your posts are going to get banned, and then eventually you're going to get banned. What you need to do is go to local buy and sell groups and post your offerings on there. Then if you find any local groups, like let's say a Craigslist group where somebody's saying, I need shirts for my business, I need menus for my business, I need something like that, that's when you can chime in and you can comment on their post. You let them know what you're offering, because at that point, they're asking for it. It's not spam because you're not just pushing these things on them. There's also a lot of neighborhood apps too. There's apps like Nextdoor, OfferUp, 5 Miles. I'm not sure if 5 Miles is still active. I think it is. And even Ring. You know, like the Ring doorbell cameras. Yeah, they have their own neighborhood app. So you can even post on there as well. Now, another one of the ways that actually started to bring me in some of my first customers and most loyal customers as well was simply by reaching out to customers or friends that have their own businesses. I know a lot of people that decided to go the entrepreneurial route and they started working in HVAC or air conditioning. Some of my friends became electricians. A lot of people started their own businesses and they all have their own custom shirts. They all have their own custom business cards, flyers, and everything. These were the ones that I first reached out to and I let them know what I was offering. Lo and behold, it worked. I started getting customers that way. And best of all of these different ways that I used to get customers ultimately increased word of mouth. And word of mouth is king. If you can get recommended to somebody by somebody else, chances are they're going to hit you up and they're actually going to do business with you, even if your pricing is a little bit higher than most. Now, as far as pricing, so if somebody needs a basic t-shirt with just one single color on it, with either a basic text or just some design, if it's one color and I can do it with my vinyl cutter, then I'll charge them about $18. Now, if it needs multiple colors, like let's say they want to do black, white, red, or whatever else, that's really going to depend on the design itself, how much longer it's going to take me and how detailed it is. But I could keep it at 18 bucks. If I notice that it's going to be a little bit more work or a lot more work, I'll probably increase it to maybe $20, $22. Same thing goes if they need a sleeve print along with a front print or a back print. Now, if they need a full color design like this one right here, then for this, I most likely will go at $20 to $25. For the most part, it would probably be around 23 to 25 bucks though. Now, I know you might be thinking, but how am I going to print full color t-shirts if I only have a vinyl cutter? We'll get to that. Now, for the most part, this is the pricing that I'm going to stick with if I'm doing maybe 5 or 6 shirts. Now, keep in mind that the pricing that I just gave you is going to be based on your market. There's going to be some cities or some towns that you're going to live in that might potentially see lower prices. It all depends on the market that you're living in. It's all going to depend on the area that you're living in. In a market like South Florida, I know a lot of people want the cheapest stuff, but there's a lot of people that will pay premium prices without hesitation. So again, study your market. You're going to have some customers that are going to tell you no. Some customers are going to tell you yes. So it's okay to get no's every once in a while. Just remember that. That is what's going to teach you if you're going the right way. If you realize that 100% of people told you no when you're trying to charge them 25 bucks for a shirt, then lower your prices. Go down to 20. That doesn't work. Go down to 18 and so on. And also on the flip side, if you notice that a lot of people are telling you yes and you're barely getting anybody that tells you no, then maybe try increasing your prices by just a little bit. Not too much, maybe like $1 or $2, just to test the waters with new customers, not with customers that have already told you yes in the past. Now, if we're going with bulk orders, everything that I told you up until this point is going to be, again, for anything between 1 to 5, maybe even 10 shirts. If you're going with bulk orders, what's bulk orders? Well, that's going to depend on you too. Personally, I see bulk orders as anything between 15 to 20 and more. For these types of orders, I don't really ever use heat transfer vinyl. Instead, I go with either screen print transfers or DTF transfers. And this is one thing that you need to understand from the beginning. It's good to diversify your offerings and your print methods. If you just stick to heat transfer vinyl and you try to do a massive bulk order, then that's going to be kind of hard for you. That's going to end up taking a lot longer than it should. Trust me on this. I've spent hours upon hours that were unneeded fulfilling orders with just heat transfer vinyl, when I could have just ordered screen print transfers, gotten pretty much the same profit, and gotten the orders done in a quarter of the time. So if somebody comes up to you and they need a pretty big job, whether it be a simple design or a very intricate design, and they need more than 20, just check out TKO Sales. TKO Sales has 15-cent screen print transfers, or they have screen print transfers starting at 15 cents. It all depends on the size and the colors, but that's going to be your best bet. As far as full color transfers, when you need anything bigger than maybe 5 or 10, then you can also go to necoprints.com, which is my website, and check out my DTF transfers on there. I also have a gang sheet builder on my website, so you can structure out your gang sheet right from there. Also, I offer free shipping. Now that's for bulk orders, but remember I told you previously that I'll teach you how to print full color designs with smaller orders. Well, that's pretty easy. Let's get to that one. For this, you are going to need a couple of extra things though. For one, you're going to need your basic household inkjet printer. Most people already have these, but not everyone has one. So just so you know, you are going to need a home inkjet printer. The second thing you're going to need is going to be heat transfer paper, specifically inkjet heat transfer paper. I'll have my recommendation for you down in the description below, but you can really go buy these anywhere at Walmart, on Amazon, or anything else. But the ones at Walmart aren't the best quality. They fade really fast, they crack, they get really hard after they wash. So I would stay away from those. There's one brand called Nina 3G Opaque. Again, the link will be down in the description below, and that's the best one that I've had so far. Now, quick disclaimer, this isn't the best way to print shirts, but if your customer needs a couple within a few days, then it's a pretty feasible and reasonable way to do it. But just remember, there are always better quality options out there that I personally would go with. This is just to get you started, to get you on your feet, to get the ball rolling. Now, when it comes to your bulk pricing, if somebody places an order for maybe 20 or 50 shirts, this is also something that a lot of people struggle to price. Some people think, should I charge $20 for each shirt? Should I charge $10? $20 is going to be way too expensive if somebody's ordering like 20, 30, 40 shirts. That you can forget about. But to make things a lot easier for you, the easiest thing that you can do is simply just add up all of your expenses that you're going to do for that job and really just double it. That's kind of like the general rule of thumb, but there's a lot of other things that can factor into this. Now, if you want an easy to reference calculator that's completely free, then you can go to necoprints.com. On there, I have a pricing calculator for sublimation, DTF and screen print transfers, heat transfer vinyl, and white toner printing. So if you use any of these printing methods, then just go ahead and check out necoprints.com. Again, a completely free pricing calculator. But I also have a spreadsheet on there that if you want to purchase it, you can get it for just $1. And it's going to be an Excel worksheet that you can just use online. It's a Google Docs sheet, so you are going to be using it online, but you can download it if you want to. All right, so let's quickly talk about diversifying. Now, when I talk about diversifying, I mean what I had talked about earlier. Instead of just going with your own brand or just going with custom orders, try to diversify your offerings. Try to diversify the different places that you're going to sell on. So for one, like I said earlier, you can always do custom work. But two, you can always sell your work online on websites like Etsy. Or if you're a little bit more technically inclined and if you like to poke around things, maybe even market your stuff, you can also go on Shopify. Now, if you want a special deal on Shopify, just check out the description down below. There is a special deal on there where you can get started for 1 month for $1. So these two different websites are going to help you diversify your selling platforms and help you see which is going to work better for you, custom work or your own stuff. Now, that's not to say that you can't do custom work on your own website or on Etsy. On Etsy, you can do personalization. On Shopify, you can really offer whatever you want. So mix and match, test out all of the different platforms, see what works for you. You might be surprised. All right, so let's talk about the big elephant in the room, oversaturation. Is the t-shirt business oversaturated? Are there too many people in this business? Can you still make a profit? Yeah, you can. Look, if we're being completely honest, at this point, every single business model, everything is oversaturated. But that doesn't mean that you can't be successful. There's a lot of different ways to become successful. If you want to just focus on your t-shirt business, then you need to focus on your marketing and on getting customers. There's a lot of customers out there that had a bad experience with somebody or with somebody online that are ready to start working with somebody else. So that's why it's very important to message people on Instagram, message local businesses on Instagram, and let them know what you're offering. Look, it's really all about your marketing. It's all about standing out. And a lot of it also has to do with diversifying your marketing tactics. Take TikTok, for example. I know that right now it could potentially be banned, but it might not. So I'm really not sure. But either way, this is short form content. TikTok is a great place to market. But of course, not just that, you also have Instagram Reels. You also have YouTube Shorts. You have Reels on Facebook. These are all organic ways to market that don't cost you a thing. Another thing that you can do is simply look for influencers and send them custom shirts. Reach out to them, let them know what you're offering, tell them that you're going to offer them a sample in exchange for either a video or for a shout out or some sort of promotion. You do need to be careful in this part though, because there's going to be a lot of influencers out there that will just take your shirt and they'll just leave it there. It happened to me when I first started my brand, but little by little, you'll start to figure out who you can work with and who's the best ones to work with, which ones are more reputable. Unfortunately though, this is going to be trial and error. There are going to be some people that are going to make you promises and they're just never going to get back to you. So it's good to look for people or influencers that have done this before. Don't try to go with somebody new or somebody that doesn't really have a big following, because chances are they'll probably just take your shirt and leave it there. It happened to me a couple times. Also, another thing that really impacts whether or not you're going to start making sales, let's say if you have your own shirts and you're selling on Etsy or something like that, is going to be the designs that you use. Now, not only that, but sometimes you're going to have a customer that's going to ask you, can you make a design that does this? It's, I don't know, like a duck working out or something like that. And if you don't know how to design, then you're going to say no, and you're going to lose that customer and extra profits. So there's a few different ways that you can combat this. One, the first way is going to be using AI. Now, me personally, I absolutely love using Kittl. They have an AI text-to-image generator that works amazingly, and I use it for everything. The link to that is going to be down in the description below, and I'm also going to have a code there that you can use to get 25% off your entire subscription. So I highly suggest Kittl. If you don't know how to design, it really makes designing very easy. But not just that, I also have my own design drive over at necoprints.com if you want to check that out as well. Right now it's $15, but the price is going to go up once I add more and more designs to it. But on there, you're going to find tons of ready to print, high quality images with no background. Best of all, they're royalty free, so you can use them for whatever you want. And it's always being updated. Other than that though, there's tons of different design bundles that you can purchase on the internet, and you can even go on Etsy and look for designs on there. But if you want to support the channel and you want to support me and keep seeing more of these videos, check out the design drive. Trust me, it's worth it. All right, now comes the fun part, making your first order when you start getting orders. Now, this is pretty obvious. If you have your vinyl cutter, use that. I already kind of explained it in the beginning, but if you have bigger orders, if you have bulk orders, then you can always go with screen print and DTF transfers. Now, as you go, you're going to want to start expanding your offerings. Like instead of just doing t-shirts, you might want to start doing things like tumblers or cups, mugs, mouse pads, just different types of products that you can print on. This is when you're going to start really expanding your offerings and being able to make more and more things. So my suggestion to you is going to be to start taking your orders and then put your profits to the side. Do not touch them. Reinvest this into your business. So once you get maybe another $400 or $500 extra in profits, then you can start to invest into a sublimation printer. You invest into a sublimation printer, then that is going to start bringing you in more customers, more products that you can offer, and ultimately more revenue. Now, also, when you do get your first order, let's say if you get it on Etsy, then you're going to go ahead and make your order and then you're going to ship it out. When it comes to your shipping, this is going to be for either Etsy or Shopify or whatever it is that you're doing online. Even if people ask you from another state through Instagram to make them a shirt, you can always go to the post office, to UPS or FedEx or whatever it is. But do not do that. You're going to be spending so much more money. My suggestion is to go the cheaper route. Go on pirateship.com. Pirateship is a completely free website that you can use to purchase your shipping labels. Now, not just that, but it also gives you some pretty decent discounts. You're going to get better pricing on there than you will at the post office. The reason for this is because the post office, they're automatically going to be adding insurance. So I highly suggest that you do use Pirate Ship because, again, it's completely free. Now, in terms of the shipping options that you have, don't ever go with priority unless your customer is paying you extra for that. I always offer my customers free shipping, but I give them the slowest shipping. So I'll give them, I think it's USPS Ground. It's a brand new one that just came out and it costs maybe $3 to $4 at most. So that pricing, you can easily factor that into the actual pricing that you're selling your shirts at. So instead of selling your shirts at $18 with $5 shipping, sell it at $22 free shipping. People see free and it's an automatic psychological trigger that's like, I need this because it's free. They'll choose something that says free versus something that says paid any day. So yeah, if I were to start my t-shirt business again today from scratch in 2025, this is exactly how I would have done it or how I would do it again. This is my tried and true method. This is how I was able to move up to where I am right now. Of course, diversifying with a few different businesses, start making content, bunch of other things. But like I always say, go with the flow. If something comes your way that you're kind of unfamiliar with, try it, right? If you realize that you're making content for your business and that content actually starts making you money in a different form, then why not also focus on that? Don't ever give up on your t-shirts because that's also going to be another form of income, but diversify your forms and your streams of income. That way, if for whatever reason one slows down or one just gets completely cut off, you have another one. And this isn't just going to go with two different forms of income. Like if something new or unexpected comes your way, try it out, give it a shot, see what happens. You never know. You might like it and it might be the best thing that ever happened to you. So with that, huge thank you to everyone for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. Please make sure you subscribe, like this video, share it around if you found it useful. It truly means the world to me that you're all watching these videos because I've always wanted to simplify the t-shirt printing process ever since I realized how complicated it was from when I first started. So hopefully these videos are helpful to you. Huge thank you to everyone for watching. My name is Mario with Nickel Prints and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.